So let's talk about the Forex market. You see, the Forex market is simply the selling and buying of currencies. If you've ever traveled before, anywhere in the world, you've participated in this market. Now, the Forex market comes from foreign exchange, which you can call the Forex market, or maybe if you're too lazy, you can call the FX market. Now, the beautiful thing about this market is that it's a decentralized market. It's not owned by one entity. It's owned by, of course, these currencies are owned by countries, and there's a lot of major players that are heavily participated in this market, and they cannot own this market at this point. Of course, the biggest players in this market are the super banks. I'm talking HSBC, Barclays, Citibank, JP Morgan, where they're switching a lot of currencies around all over the world. The second biggest players in this market are commercial companies and central banks. Give you guys a simple example. Apple. Let's say if they buy their equipment or their machines or their technology from Japan. Well, they're exchanging a lot of US dollar to a lot of Japanese yen, and that creates a lot of movement in the Forex market, of course. And it's not only Apple, many insurance companies, any company that really dabbles in multiple countries, they have to utilize, of course, the Forex market because they're switching currencies around. And not only commercial companies, of course, central banks, right? I'm talking the Federal Reserve, I'm talking the European Central Bank. All these banks as well utilize the Forex market for a big profit. Now, not only these central banks, if you ever traveled before, you exchanged some money, you've went to these currency exchange shops where you can exchange your money. There are heavy players in these markets as well. And of course, if you're trading online, you've used an online broker, and they dabble in the Forex market as well. And of course, myself and yourself, you're looking into the Forex market, you're gonna dabble eventually in the Forex market, and they call us retailers. If you travel, if you do this, if you utilize it, if you trade, we're called retailers. So we're of course heavily involved in the Forex market as well. Now, here's the thing. As a trader, it's not that hard, trust me. All you gotta do is figure out what currencies are going up or down, and of course sell and buy accordingly. Now, couple of steps that I would give you, right? All you gotta know is figure out what currency you're gonna sell. Secondly, you gotta figure it out what strategy are you gonna use to get the money out of the currency, right? Thirdly, you gotta figure out which timing you're gonna be on, and fourth, of course, how much money you're gonna get in and which broker you're gonna utilize. Right now, here's the thing. I believe it's not that hard. Trust me. If you follow me on social media, you'll know I've been, in the markets for a while now, and I've taught a lot of people how to do the exact same thing. Now, my favorite platform is Instagram, so if you do have Instagram, definitely follow me there. I have a lot of videos on YouTube as well. But hey, let's get back into the game. What currencies can you trade right now? There's 7 to 8 main currencies that you can trade. I'm talking the US dollar, the European euro, Japanese yen, British pound, Swiss franc, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and of course, if you can see, there's 3-letter abbreviation for these currencies. And as you can see here in the map, different currencies for different countries, of course. Now, if you ask me, there are 28 pairs that you can trade. Now, a lot of people come up to me like, Rakan, isn't that too much? It kind of is. But if you are a newbie, if you're new in the Forex market, really focus on these major pairs. Any pairs that you're trading against the US dollar, the Euro USD, USD JPY, GBP USD, USD CHF, USD CAD, AUD USD, NZD USD. And if you're really a beginner and you want to focus on two, I would suggest focus on the Euro USD and the USD JPY, of course, right? Now, let's talk about how big this market is, right? How big this market is, because it is massive. And a lot of people compare it to the New York Stock Exchange. I don't think we should, but just for the sake of for you guys to understand how big this market is, I kind of put it here in perspective. This market is a $5 trillion a day market. That's how much trading volume happens in this market every single day. And if you really put it in perspective within the New York Stock Exchange, which is the biggest stock exchange that we have, it's 50 times more trading volume. 50 times more. So you can kind of put it in perspective on how big this market is, right? Now, there's multiple working hours or trading hours that you can utilize. Of course, the Sydney market open, then the Tokyo, then the London, of course, the New York market, which is Eastern typically. And this market is open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, which is pretty cool, right? Now, here's the thing. You measure Forex or trades by pips, depending how much it goes up, how much it goes down. That's how you can utilize it with pips. You see, the Forex market uses typically a 4 or 5 decimal place, depending on which broker you're using. And I'll shoot you here an example. The euro versus the USD is 1.1138, and I said some brokers use a 5th decimal place. And this is where you can kind of figure out how much money you've made, how much money you're lost. I'll have other videos explaining in depth how pips work, but trust me, it's a vital key for you to understand how the Forex market and how much money, of course, you've made, because that's how you can measure it in the Forex market. Now, something that is pretty cool with the Forex market that the stock market does not have is something called leverage. You see, when you're getting in with a small amount of money, it's very interesting, because in the stock market you can really only get maybe one share for that price. So let's say if the price is $1 and you have $50, you're gonna buy 50 shares and you can't really buy anything else. In the Forex market, it's a little bit different. You can have $50 and you can get $5,000 as a leverage, right? Depending on what leverage you have. I've seen leverages with 1 to 100. I've seen up to 1 to 500. That's the max I've seen. But your broker, your online broker, where you're going to be trading on, they give you leverage, which is cool because you can actually have more money to trade in the markets. And the other cool factor is that if you do lose money, you don't really lose $5,000. You really just lose your $50, and your kind of trades are just gonna go out, and the broker will kind of sell it, and they make their money, of course, back. Now, the beautiful thing and the most important thing about the Forex market is that you can trade anywhere in the world. And this skill set can absolutely pay you forever if you dedicate some time to actually learn it. So definitely take a look at this market and learn. You see, in the word learn, there's another word called earn. The more you learn, the more you earn with the Forex market. Now, I would thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely check out my other videos on YouTube. See you guys.